Okay, we're recording.
And Jeannie, yeah, we need to share screen. And
so the question is, where is where's our?
Is that it?
No.
That's
oh,
it.
That's it, but it's not.
Not in order.
Let me go to that first. Thought I had it ready, but no.
Well, maybe we just informally fix it as we go along.
So this must be it.
It's right there. You put.
Yeah, I know. There. Okay, let me just go to this. It should be here. Let's go to the beginning, and we can. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. And then before we go to page 2, I didn't have a chance to communicate with Jeannie, but Jeannie usually gives us a prayer. And even though we're not eating, I still think we could use a prayer, if you don't mind, before we get started. I mean, now that we've started.
Okay, great. Well, let's pray. Loving and gracious God, looking upon each and every one and calling us precious, beloved of your people. We thank you for the precious and beloved ones that we are holding up here tonight, those that we are cheering on, hoping the best for these kids and for their families. So point us in all of the right directions, inspire us as we do things that will, in some ways, enhance their experience and enhance their lives. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Next page, please. Okay, all right. So we are going to start our program with Greg, and so whenever you're ready.
So we need to stop the share, so he's.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for asking me to do this. I really appreciate it. This is a song with an unusual title. It's called Fish, Cat, Dog, Woman, Man. And it's kind of about being in quarantine with all my beautiful friends here. So anyways, I hope you enjoy it. The fish is swimming in borrowed water in a glass townhouse on a smooth floodplain. The fish is thinking that Netflix is grand. Nothing's trying to eat him. What a joyful land. The cat is plotting to rule the world, but that gets rather boring, so she screams for food. The humans are slow and barely trainable, but eventually they follow commands. The dog is laying out in the sun, eyes half open so the squirrels won't come, waiting with patience for 4 p.m. When they fill the bowls, then he'll sleep again. The man is lying upon the couch, the cat is screaming and the dog's passed out. The fish is waiting for season 5, but it can't push the button, so it starts to cry. Is whirling around this mess as the sleepy man comments on her dress. She presses the button and lays on the couch, and the fish is happy as the lights go out. Fish, cat, dog, woman, man, I'm a genius. Only about a half a dozen fleas in between us. Can't believe it took so long to figure this out. Fish, cat, dog, woman, man.
Oh,
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wonderful. Um, and we had all that pet talk. That was good. And we'll go back now
To
to the
PowerPoint for a second,
PowerPoint for a bit.
which is there.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to invite Terry to speak with us. Before we do that, just to remind everyone in their heart and their mind how wonderful this program is, I'm going to read the objectives, because they really are the objectives for a healthy, happy child. And they are: improve the child's health and physical abilities, enhance the child's access to an adequate diet, improve the family's attitude toward the child's future health and physical abilities, encourage confidence, spontaneity, curiosity, and self-discipline, enhance the child's mental processes and skills, establish pattern and expectations of success for the child, improve the interaction between the child and the family, and enhance the sense of dignity and self-worth of both the child and the family. Those are beautiful and vital. And before we pass this on to Terry, I was explaining to Terry, this is year 4 for our fundraiser. And I said, Terry, we want to hear success stories, kind of that kind of approach. So she knows that we're primed for that. But I want to say that these successes come after a great commitment. She is our Head Start and Early Head Start program director. She has served in the field of early childhood education for 35 years. The last, probably 36 now, the last 27 have been with Head Start. As she says, once Head Start is in your blood, you can't leave. She started as lead teacher and moved up to program director. She serves a 4-county program. These are old statistics, but the last time we introduced her, there were 962 children. Now, just to let you know that because of COVID, Head Start had to have more social distancing. And so we are only serving 20 families this year, 20 families. So now if Terry will take over and we'll stop this screen sharing. So right up
I
here.
know, but I'm not.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Well, I appreciate everyone here that's come tonight to help support our families. Absolutely. It is the 4th year, and it doesn't seem possible that 4 years that we've been doing this, which is great. I know our families really appreciate it. And this year, especially because like she was talking, Margarita was talking, we are only serving about half of our Head Start families this year due to the social distancing, due to keeping classroom sizes smaller. Our Head Start classrooms are only having 10 in each classroom. And it's kind of hard to choose with those families. Of course, any child that was here last year had the opportunity to return. But we are also, our remaining slots was definitely targeting on families that were working families. That doesn't mean those are the only families that get in, but we did want to make sure that we were targeting those families that needed that support so they could work. So that does cut down on a lot of slots this year. So absolutely, it's a big task for families to be working, to going through this, because some of them not only have young children like we are serving, but they also have school children. And they're never certain of when those public schools are going to be open, and they're going to go virtual. So our care and our program being open for those families is vital this year, for sure. And your support for those families is going to be so much accepted and appreciated so much. So we do want to extend our thank you, as well as for them, because it will be very, very helpful. Our teachers are also on the line. You see our teachers here, some of our teachers here tonight for St. Stephen's. And absolutely, they have children as well that are going through this, and they have to worry about their children and where they are. So for our staff to be here and supportive to our families is also a sacrifice for them to be around our children as well. So we want you to understand that they so appreciate your support. Just being in the building, knowing that they are supported with around your support from the church is also very helpful to them. We are serving a few less children in our program this year than last year because we converted some more Head Start slots over to Early Head Start, because our Early Head Start programs are definitely underserved in all of our counties, simply because we can only serve 8 in a classroom versus 17 normally in a classroom. So, but with our Early Head Start this year, just for your information, that we are serving them. All of our classrooms are fully open, but we also give those families the opportunity to be served virtual if they need that care, because it's not quite as vital for those Early Head Start children to necessarily be in the classroom as it is for some of our 3 and 4-year-olds that will be going to public school, very soon. So we are kind of a different way of serving families this year. I know for everyone probably here as well as us, it's unknown. Every day is an unknown. So we take it one day at a time. So with all of that said, I will be glad to answer any questions, but I think our teachers, our center director, Melissa, and our teachers that are here have a lot more to say that are a lot more beneficial than what I could talk about, because they know from direct hand, face to face, those families and those children and how they're reacting and doing this year. So with that, Marguerite, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and back to them, because I think you're going to want to hear more of them and what they have to say.
Yes, that sounds good. I think if we could go to Melissa Prado, our center director first. I have to see.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. You could, since I don't have a biography for you, if you could just give a brief introduction to your teaching career. How did you come to teach at Head Start? And
Okay.
And then if you could share whatever comes to your heart and mind. I know you can't mention actual children by name, but share some stories about what you've observed in
Okay.
the children.
Okay. Well, like Margarita said, my name is Melissa Prado. I am going on roughly about 3 years with Crossroads at St. Stephen's. I was a lead teacher first, and then last year I moved into the center director position. I moved here 2 years ago from Amarillo, Texas, where I worked as a center director there in Amarillo for the YMCAs. And I also worked for the Texas Workforce Commission and their child care subsidy program before I moved to Norman. I did not have a background in Head Start per se until I moved here. I knew what Head Start was. I knew about it back in Amarillo, but I hadn't got a chance to actually work in Head Start until I moved here and started at St. Stephen's. And so, coming from a child care background, per se as a daycare background, not all daycares are like this, but majority of them, people, I don't want to say baby meal because that's a bad stigma, but I mean, you're in a classroom and you are at capacity, your full ratio of trying to teach, early education. In Head Start, our ratios are much lower. Therefore, you can build a relationship with the children. And that's one thing that I thoroughly enjoyed when I first came to Head Start, because It's all about those connections that you make with the children, for the children to feel safe with you, so you can open up and you can, teach them new things, play with them. All the children learn through play, and even have a good relationship with the children, and therefore it trickles over to the families. That's one thing that I enjoy also, is seeing the families. At first, you first start your school year and you get so bogged down to, we got to get this signed, we got to, this is what we're doing, here's your handbook, these are our policies and our procedures. And, building that relationship with the children comes so easy for us. And so you're with them every day. You spend majority of your day with them. So those relationships come a lot easier. But the parents' relationships with the families, you have to put a little more effort into it. And that's one thing that when, it means so much to these families to get a bag full of clothes, because when they get that bag, that is a burden that's lifted off their shoulders, because it comes with a coat, and that coat lasts them the whole winter. And you get to see the kids in those outfits, and you see how happy they are when they're running around outside and they're warm, and the parent's grateful for that. And then once the parent kind of sees what Head Start is about and what St. Stephen's themselves, how you guys support us, then it opens up them to us and builds that communication and that connection, and then you start working with the whole family, because it's all one unit. I mean, we all know that, a child's first teacher is their parent. So if we can assist those families and those parents any way we can to build a better unit for those children to be successful later on in life, that's really kind of what inspires me to keep going, and why I enjoy what I do.
That's beautiful. Does anyone have a question for Melissa? I think everyone feels rather full and satisfied with everything you just shared. Thank you so much, Melissa. Perhaps we should go on to Christina Jones next. Thank you. Hi, Christina.
Hi, it's very nice to be here with you all. I'm Christina Jones. I am new to Crossroads, but not to Head Start. And I'm also kind of newish to Norman. I just, my husband is from here, but I'm from Pauls Valley, and we just moved our family to Norman in February. So right before COVID started.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so that was fun. I have an 8-year-old, and she got to go to first grade here last year for, I think, a month before everything got shut down. And she is doing the traditional in-school option this year because my husband and I both work. And then I also have a 1-year-old, and I work at St. Stephen's. I'm a lead teacher. This is my first year as a lead teacher. Back in Pauls Valley, I actually started my Head Start journey as a parent. When my oldest daughter was 3, I was a single mom, and we moved back to my hometown because I was just really struggling, like taking care of everything. And Head Start was there. My daughter was in the 3-year-old program, starting in the 3s in Pauls Valley with their Head Start program. And a few months later, I had to quit the job that I had been doing because it was such a long commute. It was like over an hour away, and I was just missing everything. And there was actually an opening as an assistant in the 3-year-old class in Pauls Valley. So I was an assistant teacher in Pauls Valley for almost 4 years. And then I took a small break after I had my youngest daughter, and got my degree. I finished my degree in December of last year. And now I'm here in Norman, and I'm so excited to be a lead teacher. And I just look at it as I got the opportunity to kind of give back to a program that gave us so much when I really desperately needed it. So, and I use that. It's really hard to build connection with the parents right now because they don't get to come in, you know, and like volunteer in the classroom and stuff like that. So we do have to put a lot more effort into that part, those relationships, like Melissa was saying. But we do have to make weekly phone calls to our parents just to, you know, make sure that they're doing okay and to let them know that they're supported by us and just let them know that we're there to help them. And I have, you know, I think it's really helpful that I started as a parent first. So my first taste of Head Start ever was as a parent. So I know what that side is like. And I know all the amazing things that they do for the family as a whole. It's not just the kids that we get to see every day and that we get to love on every day. Like Melissa said, it's the whole family. Like we love that whole family. We want to be there for everyone. So yeah, like Head Start means a lot to me actually, because they were really there for me when I needed, like I just needed someone. And my daughter still talks about teachers that she had in Head Start in Pauls Valley. So I just hope that with me being a lead teacher for Head Start, hopefully some of the kids that I get to be with, like hopefully, you know, when they're 8, they're still talking about how much fun they had in my class and, you know, like the good experiences that I'm hopefully giving for them. And I really would like to say also, it's really cool being in a church, having our class in a church. Church is also something very important to me. And it's been really nice, like seeing some of your church members around, like when they're there to work, and they're so friendly and so nice. And so that's really cool too. I really must say that that's really awesome also. So.
Oh my goodness, Christina, I have to say you brought tears to my eyes, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. That is quite a journey, and all the more your gratitude to Head Start is from such a deep place, and I think you've also answered one of my questions. I'm sure with COVID, it's hard to love the way you're used to loving these children because you have the problem with you're not allowed to touch them or hug them, or how is that working out for you?
We definitely encourage social distancing, but anybody that's around children knows that that's kind of hard. You know, like a lot of kids are just naturally like loving, and they are just naturally touchy-feely people, and they don't know what social distancing is. Like we talk about it, we've talked about it, and one of the things that I know is different, like even though I wasn't here last year, I know it's different just from talking to the other teachers and Melissa. We have greetings, like we have different options for kids every day when they come in. Like we have different options on how they want to be greeted in the morning. And like in the past, you know, an option might be, oh, you want a hug or something like that. So we actually found some social distance greetings, you know, like just a wave or something like that, or just like a peace sign, or, you know, just something like that that's not so touchy-feely. So we have had those conversations with the kids and tried to explain like why it's necessary. But they are kids, and you know, like they're gonna play and they're gonna like love on their friends, and we have lots that, you know, like they'll just run up and give you a hug and you don't even like see them coming, and all of a sudden they're hugging you. So, you know, you try, but it's not always possible. But, you know, it does lend to good conversations with the kids. Like it's definitely teachable moments. Like it is really hard because kids just want love, you know, and you as a teacher, whereas anybody that works with kids, like you want to give them that just like you would if it were your own children. So, you know, like we try to discourage it, but it doesn't always work. And if they want to give us a hug, we're not going to tell them no, because we want them to be loved and we don't want them to be like worried, you know, like we're not going to make it a scary thing for them. So we're not going to like discourage it to the point where they're like worried about things. But we
Right.
definitely teach them and try to have those conversations about what social distancing means and why we need to do it right now.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, they're kids, and who doesn't love a hug, you know? Like, we definitely want to give them all the love that we can, especially in the short amount of time that we get to have them.
Right. That's very, very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, perhaps we can have Jennifer Moore now. Is Jennifer? Is she here?
Yes.
Oh. Where's Jennifer?
I think she's trying to come off of mute real quick.
Ah, okay. Our modern day Zoom problems.
There she goes.
There we go. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Jennifer Moore. I've been with Crossroads for, this will be my 5th school year at St. Stephen's. I worked for another Head Start for 3 years before coming to St. Stephen's. My Head Start in Bridge Creek, where I live, it closed. So that's when I came to Crossroads. And I was so thankful that I was in a Methodist church. I'm Methodist. I grew up in a Methodist church. I love your building. I love your members. We love having them volunteer. It's one of my absolute favorite things. And that's one of the reasons why I came back this year, that and the children. I was really worried about all this pandemic. But when I thought about it, so I'm going to miss the church. I'm going to miss the children. And that's one of the reasons why I came back. We love what we do. We're obviously not in it for the money. We love teaching the children. It's been difficult this year, but the moment it started, it's kind of like you just completely forget. They hug you and you read to them, and sometimes we're their only person that talks to them. We have a parent this year, she doesn't even speak to her child when she drops him off at the door, and that's heartbreaking. So that's one of the reasons why I came back. We have these connections. I've had 3 siblings out of one family while I've been at St. Stephen's. I love that. Now I have a cousin of those children. It's something it's almost where I know the whole family now. They refer us to other families. It's really amazing. We feed the children breakfast, lunch, and a snack. So in some way, we are a lifeline for these children. We work with the families. Some of these parents, they don't do homework with them. We have to remind them and get them in the groove where they'll do the homework with their children and get them ready to go on to the public school. And some of them don't even think about reading. We have parents that we've had I had this child parent for I think 3 years, and they told us this year they've never read a book to their child. So we're the only person reading to some of these children. So, and we appreciate all you do, the clothing. We've already seen children come back that we had last year and some of the clothes that you gave them last year. A little boy wore his new little sweater that we had from last year. So we appreciate all you do for us.
Thank
It
you.
means a lot.
Oh my goodness, your work means a lot to us.
Thank you.
See
We definitely feel appreciated by all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was wondering, could you share a little bit of how your day works with the kids?
Sure. I get at work at 7:30. Some of our extended day children, they arrive at 7:30. This year in my classroom, I don't have any that come until 8. But at that moment, we greet them at the door this year. We clean, we bleach wipe their shoes, we take their temperature, we walk them down the hallway to our classroom. They're greeted, like Christina said, we do an elbow bump or a hip bump, something with the child at the door. They come in, we wash hands, we sit down, we read about 15 minutes. We feed them breakfast. We clean up. We got a large group. That's where we sing and dance with the children. We talk about who's missing from our class that day. We sing a song. We wish the child well that's not with us. We to do sign language with the children. We're doing one sign a week, a new sign a week with them. So we do that. And then when we're done with that, we go outside for about 30 to 40 minutes and we take balls and chalk and something out different each week as we go. We come in, my group does small group, So that's something that we might do a craft or puzzles, something different each day with our small group for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then we clean up, then we go to work time, which is our play time. We play with them for 30 to 40 minutes. We have math centers, we have an art center, science, we have a house area. So in those centers, we have all different activities for them. So it seems like they're just playing, they're actually learning all different things throughout that day. We clean up, we go in, we talk to the children about what they did during work time, gets the children talking to us, and then we feed them lunch. So we eat lunch, clean up, and then we take a nap. And then when they wake up from nap, we feed them snack, clean up, and they go home for the day. So we're very busy. It goes, some days it seems like we're there 10 minutes. We're on the go all the time. And this year we're washing a lot. So we're in the bathroom a lot, washing hands, sanitizing. So it's a very busy day.
It
It's
sounds
something
like
new.
a wonderful day.
Wonderful.
Centers sound like, oh.
Great.
It is the best part of our day.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Any other
Mhm.
questions from our audience? Joan has a question. Joan,
I just wondered if language is a barrier for you and the kids, or for you and the parent?
We do have, in our center, we do have a lot of Spanish-speaking families. We're so thankful that we have Liz. She interprets for us. In the classroom, like right now, we have a little boy in one of our classrooms that does not speak English, but he has started to say some phrases in English. They pick up so fast. You wouldn't even believe. We had a little girl last year who didn't know very English, and now she's completely fluent. And so it actually helps them. My Spanish is very minimal, but sometimes it's enough to navigate the classroom to even give them a little bit of comfort to just hear their own language that they hear at home. So it's not, it really hasn't been like a struggle for us with Liz. They're able to communicate with the parents for us. And then actually sometimes we'll have like, Liz, can you come in and can you talk to this child for me? And she will. So it really hasn't been that big of an issue.
I'll have to thank Liz indirectly then for her service.
Yes, yes.
Any other questions from our audience? Well, I guess,
Let me go back to the,
I think what we need to do is go to the next page. And
Okay.
thank you so much
I lost
from
my
Head
cursor
Start.
again. Let me go back, share
Program
screen
Part
to
2.
here.
And we
And
need
go to the next page.
to go to the next page. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to hear from David Wilson Burns. And so we
Just,
need to,
close this.
Hi, thanks for inviting me. Can everyone hear me okay? Good.
Loud and clear.
So Margarita invited me to read something from one of my books. You know, hearing all your teachers, thinking about my teaching days and my student days and all the stories that I have about that. But something drew my eye. I was reading about one of the stated goals of this organization, and it talks about disrupting or breaking the cycle of poverty. And we have Head Start parents that are homeless, that are poor. We have hungry kids. And the Corn Dog Angel is one of my oldest stories, and it is based on a true event. And that's what I want to share with you today. It's about what it means to see the need in front of you for real, for once in your life. The Corn Dog Angel. This wasn't the most extravagant corporate party I'd attended, but it was no small event either. A live tiki carving alternative surfer band entertained us. A gaggle of 70s inspired roller skating girls wove freely through the crowd. And food. The food was everywhere, more than we could possibly consume. That night, there were tables and tables of Chinese food, chili dogs, Mexican food, fresh fruit, and my personal favorite, corn dogs. Hundreds, possibly thousands of corn dogs stacked up in massive heated metal pans. It was a little nippy that night, so the corn dogs also had a pleasant warming feeling. We drank beer and filled our guts until we were loud and laughing and stuffed. The party, however, was not exactly taking off the way we were. It's difficult to throw thousands of software developers and database administrators together with weird surf rock and beautiful skating girls and prevent them from spending the entire time carefully documenting everything with their iPhones. No one danced, and many were too shy and too busy documenting to even speak to each other. So we decided to make our exit. That's when my buddy Doug was struck with a bolt of inspiration. He picked up a couple of paper baskets and boldly shoveled a pile of corn dogs into them. Hey guys, let's give out corn dogs on the street. Yes, why should we let all the good food go to waste when the streets of San Francisco are full of hungry people? I decided to follow suit. I admit that I felt a little anxious about it. What if someone questioned me? Is it rude to take so much food and just leave? I cautiously eyed the corn dog tray and the two servers who were working the buffet. Would they stop me? Even after a few beers, I hadn't lost my rule follower mentality. But it was time to leave, and I wanted this to happen. I grabbed 2 paper baskets, just as Doug had done, and scooped up about 10 huge corn dogs and walked away. When we got to the street, I began looking for people who might be hungry. We were loud and bold as we made our way to our favorite little pub on Powell. It wasn't long before we came upon a man sitting on the sidewalk, leaning up against the building. He held out a cup. His head hung, and his spirit was low. I was first up. I squatted down and held out the basket, speaking softly and cheerfully. Hey, want a corn dog? He looked up at me and he laughed with a street-roughened voice. Thanks, he replied and grabbed one from the top. We moved on up the street with our little gang, handing out corn dogs as we walked, and I wondered how someone who might not be homeless might react if I offered one. I mean, a corn dog's a corn dog, no matter who you are and what your circumstances may be. A guy on a skateboard stopped beside me at the crosswalk. I uncovered my pile of corny gold and held it out to him. Dude, want a corn dog? No way, are you serious? For free? Hell yeah, take one. They're still warm. Right on, that's awesome. He grabbed one and skated off with the changing light. And as we turned onto Powell Street, I only had one dog left. The 5 of us were nearing the zenith of our evening revelry, which we would certainly reach after a few hot Irish coffees at the pub. I nearly tripped over a man sitting on the street corner. He was very nearly invisible. He wasn't speaking, playing drums, holding a cup or a sign. He had a blanket around him. He was holding himself, trying to keep warm in the chilly night. It would only get colder. I squatted down as I had done before. I uncovered the last corn dog. It had been fun and games up till this point. Weren't we clever and oh so compassionate, handing out corn dogs that would get a hungry man through only a few hours on the cold, hard street? Yes, we felt great. And it truly did open our eyes to some of the harsher realities of a city that had given us only its best. But this was real now. This was a real man with a real problem on a real street. We would soon be in a warm, friendly place and would make new friends and have a few laughs. Then we would crash in warm, comfortable luxury hotel bedrooms for the night. But he wouldn't. He would be sitting right here, where he was right now, alone, cold, and hungry. I picked up the corn dog by its stick and spoke to him through the haze of beer and joviality. "Hey, brother, have a corn dog." Something happened at that moment. Maybe it was just a trick of the street lights. Maybe it was the beer, but I wasn't the only one who saw it. The man lifted his head slowly until his eyes met mine. Nothing but a corn dog between us. His face melted into a smile. His eyes glistened. Something was happening that cannot be described. There was a light or an energy, a glow. It wasn't coming from me. It emanated between us in our brief contact. I don't remember if he spoke, but his eyes expressed his gratitude as he accepted my humble gift, a warm corn dog. "Dude, you were like the corn dog angel or something. That was weird. Did you see that?" exclaimed one of my buddies with a tinge of awe in his slurred state. No, I thought, I'm not sure I was the angel. I thought of a story that I'd heard recently in church. A guest preacher, Shane Claiborne, spoke of a woman who lived on the street who said, "I used to shine. I used to shine. But it's a cold, dark world." For just a moment, on a cold, dark night on the streets of San Francisco, I wondered if I had seen an angel whose light was all but extinguished by our cold, dark world. Thank you.
Oh. Very good.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, David. I'm going to want to buy that collection of stories, so I'll contact you. Thank you. Well, now we have, let's see, we'll have to go back to our program. Now it's time for Rick and Julie Sondag, and they will sing Magnolia Street, written by Buddy who? Mondlock.
Okay. All right, stop it.
Thank you, Kim and Margarita. And Crossroads. You all are terrific. I'm a preschool teacher and Rick is a high school teacher here in Norman. So we know a lot of the challenges that you're dealing with in trying to do playful learning in a stressful time. So we just wanted to bring a song that maybe brings some cheer for all of us who are just, struggling to get through and looking to find some light. So thank you for inviting us today.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I was out sitting on my stoop, turning my brain to chicken soup. Was I in love or was I not? And did you love me back as much or not a lot? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, did our love add up or were we subtracting? But the wind picked up my balance sheet and took it dancing down Magnolia Street. Old mockingbird lit on the fence, and he put in his 2 cents. He really let me have what for. He said, pick your lead line butt up off the porch. You thought yourself into a funk, going round and round with thoughts you already thunk. Go and collect your sweet petite and take her dancing down Magnolia Street. Just about then you strolling by like a godsend for this lonely guy. I was deep into my trouble bit. Was I nice to you? No, I blew it. Give me a chance to make things right. Redeem myself in my own sight. Drag lovers cross up on the hill and push it off into the lover's landfill. Carry all this stuff around. We're not so deep, we're just weighted down. We should be nicer to our feet and take them dancing down Magnolia Street. So why don't you come with me, my sweet, and we'll go dancing down Magnolia Street. So why don't you come with me, my sweet, and we'll go dancing down Magnolia Street.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, that was
Back here.
wonderful.
Back here again.
Now we need to go back to our, and for closing, we will hear Leah Nellis singing one of our church favorites, Draw the Circle Wide. And I was going to suggest that if you feel brave, that you unmute your microphone and join in. She is also singing with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Annapolis and the First Unitarian Church of Baltimore. And so now if you, Kim, if you can take us a bit of time to get us set up here.
Get this going, and I'll probably have to switch the share.
She is somewhere.
I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
try this again.
It's all right, Kim.
Okay, sorry. I clicked the wrong button.
Do you know where it is?
There's a link. I have to do it again. Just a minute.
Oh, this is good. There it is. There it is.
Again. But I have to change the share.
Why?
Well, I don't think anybody.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we stand side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide.
Keep going. Now, if you want to show that. That's it. There it is.
Draw
sing this one.
Yay. It's awesome.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Well, that's the end of our fundraiser. Thank you so much for coming. And Kim is making all kinds of changes here, but I just hope you can hear my voice of gratitude that you have come today. Thank you. I think we closed it. Yes? Wait.
Thank you, you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know what my husband's doing, but it's making a lot of odd things come up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
See you all.
That's what I was trying to get to, and I couldn't.
He couldn't do it. Can you get back to the normal Zoom?
There we are.
Oh, there it
Sorry.
is. Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to get to that screen. There are too many screens open.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita and Kim, and for everybody who came. I would say that in response to the articles we've had in the Shield newsletter the past couple of weeks, a number of people have mailed or dropped by checks already. And we'll put another appeal in this coming week in the newsletter so that we can collect enough funds to get the clothes and the coats that these kids need.
We'll do it. I'm sure we'll do it.
Appreciate everybody's support. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone from St. Stephen's. Very much appreciated for our families.
Great contributions.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.